Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. And today's video, as you can see on the screen right now, we're going to be doing an M13 best class setup. That's right. So before the gameplay starts, just going to talk you through the class, show you the class real quick, and yeah. So here it is, the M13, the recently buffed weapon. That's right. This thing got a buff, and it's definitely way more usable now. So right now, you're going to see we're using the Monolithic Suppressor, the Tempest Marksman, the M13 Skeleton Stock, the Ranger Foregrip, and the Stipple Grip Tape. Again, take this down, note this down, do what you like. Just make sure you try this class setup out, give it a shot, give it a go, because this thing is pretty good now, okay? It's very usable. So yeah, you're going to see in the gameplay as we start though, it does have a red dot on, and this is one thing I want to show you guys. So I was messing around with the gun. This is one of those gameplays where I was kind of messing around with it, trying to find the feel for it. And you're going to see how we got to this class setup, okay? Originally we started with the red dot and not the Stipple Grip Tape, and we change it, midway through the game we take the red dot off and we put the stippled on. And this thing just changes, okay, night and day. So make sure you're using this setup. This setup right here is an absolute monster. And yeah, do what you like with the rest of it. Again, I use this little hand cannon pistol thing, whatever. This thing is pretty insane. EOD Ghost tune-up, don't really talk about that too much. Again, I just use these perks because there's not really much else you can use. C4 and Stim, as always. And yeah, today's gameplay you're going to be seeing is a 67 and 8 gameplay with the M13. So yeah, hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's get right into today's gameplay. Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video is going to be an M13 best class setup. That's right, the gun that recently got buffed, updated, patched, whatever you want to say. This gun got buffed, okay? And this thing is way more competitive now than it was before, okay? Now I'll start by saying this thing isn't going to absolutely outgun an M4, okay? If that's what you're hoping for from one of these videos, it's not going to absolutely outgun an M4. But it's definitely going to compete, okay? If you're a pretty good player, know how to get your way around situations and win gunfights appropriately and set yourself well, this gun's pretty good now, okay? This gun is definitely usable. So ignore the start here. You can see, as I did an intro before this gameplay started, this isn't the setup that I was actually using in the gameplay. And don't worry, I haven't sort of misled you. I haven't, given you a setup that isn't what I was using. Currently, right now, I am using a reflex and not the stippled. And you're going to see midway through the game, I do change that, and then you're going to notice the difference between this M13 here with the reflex and no stippled, and then having no reflex and a stipple grip tape. So I'll explain that more, as I go through the video, and I'll explain why I use certain things in this class setup. But you're going to see, this is also going to show you guys how I go about getting class setups. Like, I don't just make something up, I don't just get classes and just like throw them at you and say, here you go, try this. I like to make sure they're good, so I do a lot of messing around, playing around, and as you can see, I'm already messing around with it. I'm trying to mess around with the gun. Like, I already don't like the feel of this, I felt like it was too slow. So you're gonna see eventually in the gameplay, about maybe like a minute or two from now, I take the reflex off, I put the stippled on, and then we just go hand. You're gonna see the difference between this M13 and the next M13 and the M13 after I've done taking the reflex off and putting on the stippled. Honestly, you're gonna see it's night and day. So yeah, what you're seeing as well is a 67 and 8 gameplay, okay? So this was a pretty insane gameplay with the M13. Again, pretty dominant gameplay. And obviously that's, helped by the kill streaks we're rocking right now. So as you can see, I'm already messing around. I'm not liking the feel. I didn't like the way the recoil was going around. I didn't like the speed of my weapons. I was like, okay, let's make a choice. What should we do? What should we do? What should I do to mess around with? So as you can see, I'm checking the stocks out, I'm checking the grips out, and I've decided, that's it. I don't like the sight. I'm going to try and use the iron sight and make sure this gun is fast, able to aim down sight quickly, because this gun isn't a long-range monster, okay? It's not a long-range monster, but you're going to see, we get some pretty long-range kills with this thing. But what I noticed was, I don't know why, and tell me if you see the same thing as well. So I took the reflex off, and obviously it's supposed to be more accurate, really, and putting on a stippled decreases the aiming stability. But for some reason, you're going to see, I felt like it was just more accurate. Maybe the recoil was more manageable to me for some reason. I don't know what it was, but you're going to see it's night and day. Night and day for this change. I don't know why. So yeah, let's stop rabbiting on about that. Let's just get into talking about the class setup and why I chose certain things. So let's start with the muzzle. This is pretty key to the weapon, because this here, the Monolithic Suppressor, I've been using this attachment quite a lot on my guns now, and this thing is a savior, okay? This thing increases damage range, and I don't know how much it is, but it is a noticeable difference. I've done it with a lot of guns like the MP5, the M4, the Ram 7, top tier weapons. It even works on the M13, increasing your damage range with this thing. It just helps a lot. Like, the kill time just feels way better, and I don't know if it's because it stops the muzzle flash a little bit. It also makes your gun feel a little bit more accurate. Again, these are all feel things, these aren't facts here. These are just feelings, but it definitely helps out. So definitely use the monolithic suppressor. Yes, it does decrease your aim down sight speed and makes your aim walking steadiness worse, I guess. I don't really notice the aim walking steadiness thing. I don't know how much that is, but it doesn't really affect you. It's just the aim down sight speed that really gets to you. But don't worry, we can fix that with a few attachments, so we'll get into that as well. But next up, with the barrel. You have to have the Tempest Marksman, you know, you got to help with that recontrol, and you got to increase the damage, because this gun's weakness is the damage, okay? You know, it's got a really good fire rate. And obviously in this game we don't have rapid fire or anything like that, so you don't need to mess around with that. But the damage range needs to be increased, and so we need to use the Tempest Marksman. It's actually the only one that increases the damage range. Normally most guns have one that does damage range, bullet velocity, and no recoil control. This one only has one that does the damage, so make sure you put that on, because you're going to need it, okay? You want to increase the damage on this, otherwise you're going to have a pea shooter, and you ain't killing nobody, okay? That's just what's going to happen. Next up, this is unique to the gun. This is one of the few guns that has this attachment in the game. But this has the skeleton stock, specifically named the M13 skeleton stock. I believe the AK also has this, but yes, it has the skeleton stock. And the reason you should use this, basically, this is like having no stock, but a little bit better, because there's less penalties for it. And not only that, I feel like it's just a lot more smoother handling on the gun. So it increases your aim walking movement speed, it increases your aim down sight speed, but it does decrease your aiming stability. But you do need this. You need the strafe. You need to be able to aim down sight quickly, because again, I'd say this gun's I don't know, pros to it. The pro to it is being able to aim down sight quickly with this assault rifle. You gotta treat this thing almost like an SMG, but not too much like an SMG. Like, don't go running in like a madman thinking you're gonna spray everyone down like you've got an MP5 or a Bison or something. Okay, this is an assault rifle still, but with, I'd say, the damage and the feel of an SMG. So make sure you try and use it later, but don't be too aggressive, okay? But yeah, using that, not the no stock. Again, the no stock, it makes your recoil worse, and not only that, it increases your movement speed, not your aim walking movement speed. So there's a little bit of a difference there. The M13 is basically a better version of the no stock, but this is basically one of the pros to this gun. It has an attachment that most guns don't have. So yes, definitely use the skeleton stock. You will love it. It will help you out tremendously. Next up, we got to fix the recoil, okay? We've got a lot of things that are taking down the recoil. We've got a lot of things that are making the aiming stability worse. So we got to put on the Ranger foregrip, not the Commando foregrip. I like to put the Commando foregrip most of the time, but this gun needs the Ranger foregrip. And yes, that it makes the recoil better, it makes the aiming stability better, but the aim walking movement speed and the aim down sight speed do get, you know, a negative effect, okay? But don't worry, we've got a lot of attachments that have already put the speed back on this gun and make it as fast as possible. We just need a little bit of recoil management to make sure this gun isn't too hard to use, otherwise you're going to have no chance of killing anyone past the mid-range. But yeah, as you can see in the gameplay right now, the accuracy of this gun has dramatically changed, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just this game where if you put specific attachments together, they just like combine in a certain way, because I know this is a thing where if you put two, like say one attachment, like for instance the stippled or something, I've seen it on a few guns, it actually does nothing. But if you put something like the no stock together, there's just this dramatic increase or decrease, sorry, into the aim down sight speed and stuff. So I don't know if it's just this game wants you to combine things and find out little secrets with the game, but there's definitely something weird that happens when you combine attachments. Don't know what it is, but anyway. Finally, obviously the last thing that, again, we talked about this is the thing we dramatically changed in this gameplay, because again, you saw at the start, I was using the red dot, and I wasn't having a fun time, okay? I didn't like the recoil, I didn't like how slow my gun was aiming down sight, and we changed the red dot for the stipple grip tape, and we decided, right, we're going to use the iron sight, we're going to see if we can make it work, and as you can see, the difference is night and day between this weapon. I don't know if it just changed the recoil to a way that I can use it, I don't know if I just felt the gun was like way, faster to aim down sight, something changed, but this is what I wanted you to see, guys. I'm glad I got a gameplay like this, because most of the time you just see me using a gun with certain attachments, and you're probably thinking, is he just like laying on these attachments on the us? Is he just trying to sell us, a really bad weapon, or just get a video out for, for whatever it's worth? No, I like to mess around. I definitely put the time in, and I make sure these guns are as good as possible for you guys to use. Sometimes I mess around with the set attachments after I've done making the videos to see if I can make them even better, but you can see in this gameplay the difference between the first setup and the second setup is night and day. I definitely feel more comfortable using this. I felt like I could win my gunfights. I felt like I was unstoppable, okay? I felt like I just wasn't missing. As you can see, the accuracy, the speed of this weapon, just night and day. There's a complete 180 difference between the start. Otherwise, if I'd left with the same setup at the start, you'd have probably been seeing, well, you probably wouldn't have seen the gameplay to be honest, but it would have probably been like a 50 and 30 gameplay or something, I don't know. Something not so good for the channel. But yeah, as you can see, we've got the kill streaks coming in, the VTOL, the chopper gunner, the gunship. These, you know how we roll. These are the the kill streaks that we're always going to use, because let's just be honest, the other kill streaks are pretty ass, okay? They're not very good. But yeah. So this is the gameplay with the M13 again. This is a 67 and 8 gameplay. And you can see the night and day difference. So let's talk about what they did do to the weapon. So something that they did before, before patch. The way to describe this gun, I did actually use this gun before patch as well. I was trying to get gameplays with this gun. I'm going to be honest, I had a hard time. I was not enjoying this weapon at all. The difference between this gun and something like an M4, for instance, you know, the gun that everyone uses, it just had no chance. It felt like you would shoot 3 shots and you would still get killed, you know. It felt like you literally had to be behind someone and, you know, hope that they don't 180 you or something, because this gun had literally no chance against most weapons. This was a very terrible gun. Most SMGs would gun this thing, you know, AR, like a mid-range, long-range. It just was not that good. So what they did, they messed around with the recoil. Now I believe they said they reduced the horizontal, but they've done it again. It's the same thing with what they did with the Scar. They said the horizontal recoil was the only thing affected. They affected the vertical and the horizontal, making the recoil way less. Now that's important. They needed to do that because the recoil on this gun was like, it was like, I don't know how to describe it. It went up, but then it would kick far right. Not like just gradually go right. It was just completely right. And that's really hard to control in this game. Just in COD in general, a gun that goes far to the right is super hard to control, because most of the time you pull down on the controller to make your recoil stay down. But with this, it was going all the way to the right, and nobody controls the gun like that. It's just something you'd have to use the gun for a long time to get used to a recoil like that. And it's just not worth using, especially when, again, there's things like the M4, the MP5, just way better, way more accurate guns to use. And so yeah, they buffed that, they made that better. And then what else did they do? I believe they fixed the damage range on it, I believe. And again, the gun feels a lot better now. I believe it was only slightly, but it was slightly to the long range, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. Those are one of the 2 big changes to the M13. And altogether, it makes the gun way more better, makes it way more solid, way more easier to use. And definitely something you should give a try, okay? And I'm gonna get this guy this helicopter. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know why he sat in that thing. But yeah, pretty insane gameplay. Again, 67 and 8 gameplay with the M13. Absolutely insane stuff. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Definitely try out this class up, and I'm glad I brought you this video because again, this is one of those videos where I can showcase to you how I go about getting my class ups, and it's not just me giving you a class up for the sake of giving you a class up. I definitely mess around, I try around these weapons, and make sure I give you the best set possible. So again, try this out. Try out this M13 class up. It's a very nice gun to use now. It's got a good feel to it. So yeah, 67 and 8 gameplay. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe and notifications on, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.